Okay then. Uh, Log entry number 2 on a most gray and dismal day here in suburbia, Texas. And, I just want to start off by saying that nights like last night really, they remind me as to why I do this thing I do. People, they're if I may quote Tommy Lee Jones from Men in Black, a person is smart, but people are dumb, panicky, and dangerous animals. And last night just proved that, I guess. Uh, Seriously, why must people think that it is so fine to come in and just make a ruinous mess out of everything? And yeah, let me put this in perspective here. The over the course of a night, over the course of a dinner rush, which spans about 2 hours, we had 5 freaking buses just full of people, most of whom left behind giant messes in their wake, which infuriated me to no end, really tried my patience. And the people were jackasses, and to everybody that comes across this, just please remember that, we're food service workers, we're not drones. We're not robots, we're people, we have feelings, and just treat us with a certain modicum of respect at least. I know that most of us are just kids or dropouts or something like that, but it doesn't disqualify us from having, from being treated like decent human beings. But I guess that's the end of my rant, because that was last night. Life goes on, and humanity, that it needs a culling. It needs a culling. There's just too many people here, too many idiots, or too many people who just don't care. We've turned it. America in particular has turned into a culture of apathy and superiority. I mean, some of these people that come in, they go in thinking that they own the entire world and that they have the right to treat people like me with the whatever. Whatever. I'm not going to get worked up about this before work. That's not cool, and my muse doesn't like it. And, good art doesn't come from anger. I actually read this fascinating article last night in which it connected creativity to mental illness, to psychosis, actually. But everybody knows that the creative mind is a bit sicker than the mundane mind. That because they traverse planes that are above normal everyday thinking. But this article went into a lot more detail about the writer's condition. Talked about our penchant towards alcohol and our and our penchant towards alcohols and manic depressions and possibly and symptoms of schizophrenia and OCD, and it was actually a very enlightening article. I liked it a lot, and I don't say that I agree with it really, but it was interesting nonetheless. And I'll try to find it again, and I'll post a link down in the description, so that way you guys can read it for yourself and make what you think of it. Oh, and then like I promised, from yesterday, I've got my Thomas Ligotti anthology. So, the stupid glare. Okay, there it is. Songs of a Dead Dreamer, the first mass print edition by Thomas Ligotti. And like I said, it was the first mass print from Carroll and Graf up in Detroit, or New York rather. Sorry. This probably isn't going to come across very well, but you can see in the fine print there that it's the first mass print edition from Carroll and Graf. And then here is dedicated to his mother and the memory of his father. And then there it is. His signature. Gaze in its glory. And it's beautiful, is it not? I think it is. I mean, this alone is worth more than $150. I'm shocked that they didn't charge more for it. So yeah, Songs of a Dead Dreamer, Thomas Ligotti, one of my favorite collections so far. My favorite story I've read so far actually is called Dream of a Mannequin, and it's mind blowing, the theory that Ligotti presses forward. And the ironic part is that years before maybe like 2 or 3 years before I even discovered Thomas Ligotti, I got this idea of coming out of a movie theater in Colleyville with my family, and it was located in this strip mall. The theater was this giant towering complex, and all around were these tiny little boutique shops and stuff, and one of them was a high-class clothing store, because, this is Colleyville. It's a rich town. Not as rich as Southlake, but it's a rich town. And the store was closed, so I didn't actually get to go in, but I stopped outside of the outlets, outside of the windows, outside of the window displays at the front of the store. And of course they had the mannequins standing there all dressed up fancy with their low-cut shirts and their styling skirts, and because apparently that's what's in these days. Just more temptation for human propagation, which is exactly not what we need. But anyways, I was staring at the window displays, and I noticed how lifelike their faces are. Like, the great care and detail went into crafting these mannequins. And I mean, you could see the hair done up in all sorts of different conservative, ironically enough, styles, and their eyes were painted, and there were flaws on their face, and but of course they were beautiful as well, because you know they're mannequins. And I was thinking, those look so real, it's disarming. And then I remember watching on the History Channel one time on Modern Marvels. No, it was Dirty Jobs. It was Dirty Jobs, and Mike was going to a mannequin factory in New York, and he and I was thinking about how they make all those mannequins and where they all wind up, because from this particular place, every mannequin they make winds up in a warehouse somewhere. Excuse me. And they just leave them there until a store comes by and buys them. So there was a full warehouse full of mannequins. There's just something very, very odd about that. I'll bet there's something here. So I got to work. I've put together something of a first draft, and it didn't really go anywhere because the protagonists, they were kind of I was thinking, well, why don't I make these guys professional thieves? And they go into this old man's store, and who's kind of odd, and they come in the dead of the night using their workers' keys to rob this place. And of course, things don't turn out very well, and I'll leave you guys to find out exactly what to think for yourself, exactly what happens that night. But it was an ambitious idea, but the characters, they weren't very good. It's still in my files, so I might have to go back to it eventually one of these days once I'm finished with a couple of other projects. But otherwise, it's you know, it's in the vault. I'll get around to it eventually. But I think I'm going to end it here. I have to go to the bank before I head off to work, and got to get my antivirus restored. So I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.